Hi guys, so today we are starting our look at the Natasha Denona 28 palette. I've got the blue and purple. So as you can see, it's got 28 shadows, they're beautiful. It's got this little shade name sheet which I'm leaving on for just now. My plan with this video is going to take me quite a while to film. I don't want to do a 1 or 2 day or even 1 week decision on a £205 palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use just this palette for the month of June. I'm not saying there's going to be 30 looks because I've been sleeping in a lot, but I'm going to try and use just this palette along with my trusty Makeup Obsession for the brow bone, and I'm going to see how that pans out, and then I'm going to come back with thoughts at the end of the month. So I filmed this look just because it's kind of like my first time playing with the shadows, so let's see how that went first of all. Right, so let's get started. I look so weird with like full foundation on and no eye makeup. My eyes are just kind of vanishing. So let's zoom in and get a move on with this. So I'm kind of drawn to this kind of end. So let's have a play there to begin with. So I'm going to grab, that's not the one I wanted, this fluffy brush here, and I'm going to go into the shade Kotao. Yeah, which is this light bluey colour here. Yeah, that, no, change mind. I'm going to go for powder blue, which is the lovely greeny coloured one above it. I kind of want to use the mirror that's in this palette just so that I'm not holding multiple things, but the name sheet kind of gets in the way of that. So I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm taking my time to decide whether I want to pull that sheet off or not, because obviously once it's off I can't put it back. And yeah, so I was expecting a little bit more, I'm gonna be honest with you, but let's keep going. It's pretty, it's blending. I was just expecting a lot more colour out of this. So I'm going to take that quite high. It is a gorgeous colour and it is blending really nicely. I was just expecting not to have to build the colour up like that, just considering the cost of this product. I mean, if you break it down per eyeshadow, it's like £8 an eyeshadow, which isn't, you know, an insane price. It's just you wouldn't normally buy 28 of them in one go. Okay, just need to go a little bit bigger on this eye. I feel like I had done quite a lot there, where I've got other palettes where I haven't had to go back in quite so often. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad eyeshadow or anything, we've not concluded yet, just paying attention to things. So next I'm going to get my angle crease brush and we're going to go into Navy. That's a not so interesting name, but okay. So it is obviously just a dark blue shade. We're just going to get that going as the crease. My crease colour for the day. Again, it's blending nicely, it's taking a bit to build it up, but it's pretty. If I suddenly change to voiceover, it's because I think my flatmate's about to get up. I hear noises. And they're not Flynn, because he's lying beside me being angelic. So I'm just going to grab that same brush I used for the transition colour and use that to kind of like smooth out our edges here. And then let's make sure we've got the same shape on each eye. No, I've done a mess with the shape here. Let's try and round that out a bit. I'm just going to kind of tap in on that inner corner there to get a bit of a shape going on. Sorry, I'm still trying to smooth out where I got that kind of bump in the crease shape. Okay. Fill out a bit more there. Right, okay, so then I'm going to go into the shade Petroleum Blue, which is, it's making me think of peacocks. Okay, that's, you know, switching hands. It is this guy here, and it's so pretty. We'll see if it's bright enough for a lid shade. I'm really hoping it is, because it's where it's going anyway. So I did quite a lot of dipping in there, so seems to be pulling very blue compared to how it looks in the pan, but then the name of the shade has blue in it, so it is really nice and soft and it's went on beautifully. I just wish a bit more of that greeny tone had pulled through, because I really like that, how it looked in the pan. So maybe if I went in with a green base, I could get that to pull out a bit more. Got a little bit of fallout. That's fine. So I'm going to go do my eyeliner and my mascara and come back and decide if we want to do anything on the lower lashes. There's not really anything I want to use an inner corner highlight in here, but we might do a little bit of silver just to brighten up. So I'll be right back. Right, I'm back, and it seems a little bit backwards that I do my mascara before I decide if I'm doing eyeshadow on my lower lash line, but part of the reason is I've got quite a lot of eyelash down there. Sometimes I feel like it's enough darkness on its own without adding shadow, but not today. I am definitely going in with some more colours. So I'm going to start with the really bright silver called Chromatic, although it's looking a bit like a pressed glitter, so we'll see how well this works on the inner corner. Oh no, that's beautiful. I take it back. I love you. Just gonna pull it up the inner corner just a tiny bit. I like that. It looks really chunky and flaky in the pan, but once it's blended on, it just looks metallic. So I think I'm just going to use pretty much the same colours. So I'm going to go in with that Petroleum Blue. This is just a little tiny blending brush from Hank and Henry. I'm just getting the colour on the very, very tip of it. Then back into the navy shade. Deepening the outer corner a bit. Okay, these are so pretty. Right, so just because this is my first day playing with this, I also bought a lipstick. So this is the I Need a Nude lipstick in the shade Avril. There was one called Alison, but it was sold out, so I had to change. This packaging is really cool. It's kind of bulky, but you know, it's magnetic, so that's always fun and cool. Right, so it's quite a dark nude. Didn't look this dark on sight. Hopefully I've guessed right. Ooh, really nice cocoa butter smell. Okay. This is nice. I'd be tempted to go back for the Alison one, and it feels so nice. So it feels like a very slippery, moisturising formula. So I'm not sure how lasting this is going to be. It's maybe a little bit darker than I should have gone, especially for this eye look, but we're playing with it now and that's it. So I will see you guys with some more looks. As I said in the beginning, this is such an expensive palette that I kind of feel like I should try and make myself use only this for a month and see how it goes. I don't want to, you know, make the call after a couple of days. I want to see if you can kind of get by mainly using just this palette before I can see whether it's worth it or not at that sort of price. So current plan is that I'm going to be doing a little bit of a montage of different looks that I've used or that I've done with the palette, and then come back towards the end of the month just with final thoughts. So fingers crossed I stick to that plan. Right, so it's now the 3rd of July and I've been wearing this palette for most of the month. I'm just going to say I'm not overly loving my eye makeup today. I wish I'd put on black liner, but at the same time I always wear black liner, and I'm trying to see if it's a case of I'm just not used to it and I need to push through it. So we're persevering with this. Maybe if I have false lashes on it would look better. Anyway, so back to the Natasha Denona palette. Now, I contemplated buying this palette for ages before I bought it because of the price. So let's just deal with the price straight off, because I imagine there's a lot of people out there that when they think of these palettes, one of the first things that comes to mind is that price tag. So this palette is £205 for 28 eyeshadows. Now I'm going to look at this like a couple of different ways, alright? So there's 28 shadows and they're 2.5 grams each. So when you break that down, that comes to £7.32 per shadow, or £2.92.8, so £2.93 per gram. For comparison, if you look at an Urban Decay eyeshadow, the individual shadows are £15 and you only get 1.5 grams, and a gram of eyeshadow is £10. So if you compare it to an individual Urban Decay eyeshadow, it's less than a third of the price. If, however, you compare it to a naked palette, because Urban Decay, the palettes are quite significantly better value than the individual palettes. So the naked palette, you've got 12 shadows of 1.3 grams. I have all my sums down here. And they are retail for £43. So that works out at 2.756 pence per gram. So only really 17 pence per gram cheaper than the Natasha Denona. So, think of that what you will. I wanted to compare it to Urban Decay because I feel like it's a very widespread, widely known brand that lots of people have tried and lots of people like and will spend the money for. So if you look at it from the individual shadow perspective, this is a bargain compared to Urban Decay. If you look at it from the palette perspective, it's slightly more expensive than Urban Decay, but not dramatically, which is strange. Just Urban Decay, I didn't want to compare it to their bigger palettes, because I feel like the naked palettes are the kind of popular loved thing just now. And their bigger ones tend to be limited edition. So the big thing for me was the shade ranges with this palette. So there's two palettes this size that they do. There's the green brown palette, which I didn't buy because I don't really use brown eyeshadow, and the purple blue palette, which I like purple. I love colour. I thought purple blue, you're for me. So let's talk about that shade range, shall we? First off, when I opened this, I bought mine from Cult Beauty, and I'm well aware that when you're looking at things online, colours will look slightly different because of monitor settings, camera settings, all that jazz. But this just looked almost like those videos where people have bought knockoff makeup and the colours are like slightly out. It made me think of that. It's definitely genuine because Cult Beauty are reputable. But this is the purple blue palette. I don't know about you guys, but I see a lot of brown. I see a lot of green. I see, a little block of like 5 purples. So, let's go through this, right? Because they've got all the names on this little plastic insert thing. I wish they'd been printed on it. I feel like there is space for them to have done that. So this first colour here is called Cool Plum. That's very brown to me. Next we have Vintage, which is actually a very pretty shade, but I wouldn't call it purple or blue. Then we have Oxide, which is an amazing copper, right? I absolutely love that colour. I'm so glad it is there, but you can't deny that it is not purple or blue. In fact, it's probably more of a brown, so really should have been in the other palette. Same with this guy. So then after that we've got Golden Beige. Well, the name says all, it's not purple or blue. Quicksilver, which is a kind of grey blue, so first one so far that actually meets the palette requirements. Then we've got Deep Pacific, which is a bluey green. Glaze, which is a pale gold. The next row we've got Satin Skin. Again, this is like a taupey brown. Then we've got Smoky Plum, which is an actual purple. So now we've got two that fit in with the palette so far. Rosewood, that's brown. Golden Rose, neutral peachy, probably closer to brown than purple or blue. Steel Blue, which is gorgeous. Powder Blue, which doesn't look as green on the eye, to be honest with you. Grey Brown, it's definitely a brown. Lavender Grey, which again, pretty much taupe. Electric Violet, which is pretty cool. Maroon. Piggy, which is another kind of pale goldy colour. Metallic Steel Blue. Sorry, I'm reading these backwards just so I'm not flicking backwards and forwards all the time. Petroleum Blue, which is more green than blue, if you ask me. I mean, it looks slightly different, like swatched, than it does in the pan, but it's still definitely got a lot of green in there. Then we've got Chromatic, which is a silver. And then bottom row, we've got Deep Slate Grey, which is a very brown grey. We've got Nina's Orchid, which is a nice purple. We've got Aubergine, which is a dark purple. We've got Calypso Blue, which is a kind of MAC Club-esque. I feel like this colour is cropping up in so many palettes and things now. The brownie colour with the bluey green duochrome. Then we have Smoke, which is a dark blue toned grey. We have Kotao, which is a kind of China baby blue, and then we have navy, which is navy. So that is all the shades there. You guys might disagree with me, but to me there's, you know, 5 purples in there and 5 blues in there, which means that less than half the palette is actually purple blue, which is the name of the entire £28 palette. So to me that's a bit, you're not really fitting with your own colour scheme. And the picture that I saw in Cult Beauty, a lot more of these colours looked like they pulled a lot more purple. My other issue with the colour variety in this is the lack of dark crease shades. So I love throwing a quick shimmer on the lid, dark colour in the crease, but a dark matte colour in the crease, and going with it. And to me, you've pretty much got 3 options in here. You've got navy, you've got this guy, smoke, and you've got aubergine. So 2 in the blue family, 1 in the purple family. We'll start with the purple family one, because that, to be honest, was kind of my biggest bugbear. Now that's a very reddy toned purple. You get 2 different types of purple. You get blue based and you get red based, or pink based. And some of the other purples in this are very, very pink based, but there is a gorgeous one that I think of as being very blue based. So, Electric Violet, right, is such a gorgeous blue based purple. But then if I wanted to use that aubergine shade as a crease shade, it just doesn't look quite right to me. It starts looking a bit bruised to me once you mix your blue base and your pink base purples. It can work out, but for me, that's my hesitation with that. I think it would have been nice if there'd been a nice deep royal purple pulling towards the blue side that would have worked really nice with a blue purple palette. The blue, it's fine. You've got a navy blue. It's just a standard navy. And then you've got smoke, which is a blue toned grey. It actually has a little bit of shimmer in it. Does it? No, it doesn't. Some had landed on it from another shadow, ignore me. It would be great for a smoky eye, it blends out really nicely, but it definitely pulls blue, so again, wouldn't work a lot with some of the purples. After that, it's just, there's a lot of neutrals, and I feel like I'm going on and on about this, but there's a lot of neutrals. The pale blue, Kotao, I feel like I'm reading that wrong because it's backwards. No, I'm definitely reading it right. This was so disappointing. So that's it. And I meant to swatch that on camera, but I was checking the name and absentmindedly done it. But look how kind of chalky and patchy and just disappointing that is for a not cheap palette. I'm going to have a little clip at the end of this video showing some of the looks that I've done. You'll notice in that video that I had problems with creasing and fading, and I had problems with transfer. So the 2 metallics in this I think are actually 2 of the best formulations in it, the copper and the silver. They're absolutely amazing, right? Like the copper, it's just so creamy and pigmented and just metallic. The silver, you know, I kind of thought it looked like chunky glitter, but it just goes on like liquid silver. They're gorgeous, but when you build them up on your lid, they will transfer right up. So if you do yourself a nice dark crease and put that in there, you'll get it all transferring up, and that kind of bugged me a bit. I will say that the days that it creased were the days that it was warmer. I will also state though that, remember, I live in Scotland. My version of a warm day isn't exactly tropical, and every time I've done a look with this palette I used the P. Louise base, which is a really good primer. So usually when it comes to like price, I think that's kind of like a each to their own kind of thing. But I have to say that with this palette, the fact that I spent £200 on this, I am absolutely gutted. I could have done so much with that money. I mean, I'm just going to quickly double check some sums, but that's close to a week's wages for me, and that's insane for a palette that hasn't lived up to its name, hasn't performed particularly better than other shadows, and yeah. So yeah, it's only about £40 less than my weekly take-home pay. So no. Maths in my head is bad. My weekly take-home would be about 287 and this was 205. So it would have left me money for food for that week. And a bit towards my bills. But that is an insane amount for a palette. I just feel like there was things missing from this as well. Like just a true black would have been nice. A proper highlight shade, you know, for highlighting your brow bone, because you can kind of get away with using that silver. I used it a lot as an inner tear duct highlight, but it's generally too much to use in your brow bone. So I'm trying to like keep this kind of limited, but I'm so frustrated that I spent the money on this. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. If you've tried this and had different luck, let me know. And just, yeah, do you guys consider this as being a blue-purple palette? Or do you think that some of these colours really belong in the green-brown palette? And would you miss the highlight shade kind of being in there? Let me know. I'm curious. I want to know if I'm just being too fussy. But you'll see the section with all the looks that I did. I've included some of the nights where I came home and it was creased, and I retried those looks on different days, still got the same result. So for me, like I said, gutted that I spent the money on this. Absolutely gutted. So I will see you guys soon. I hope you have a great weekend lined up, and I will see you Monday. Bye. Ooh, colourful wave again.